It was a freezing winter morning when Ryan Mitchell, a single father and struggling carpenter, decided to take a detour on his way to a job site. The roads were slick with ice, the wind sharp against his cheeks, and his hands ached from the cold. Even inside thick gloves, he was driving his old pickup through a quiet stretch of town place lined with modest homes, weathered fences, and forgotten mailboxes. That's when he saw it. A figure, hunched and struggling, dragging a large, heavy sack behind him on the snow-covered sidewalk. The man wore a faded army jacket, boots cracked at the heels, and his hands were bare, red and raw from gripping the rope tied around the sack. What stopped Ryan wasn't just the sight, it was the soldier's face. He was crying. Ryan hit the brakes and pulled over. He knew those tears, the kind that came from wounds that didn't bleed. As he stepped out and approached, the man looked up, startled but too exhausted to speak. He looked like he hadn't eaten properly in days. Ryan noticed the sack wasn't trash. It was full of chopped firewood, damp, uneven logs, the kind that barely burn but are then nothing. "Hey man, you okay?" Ryan asked gently. The soldier said nothing, just shook his head and tried to keep moving. Ryan stepped in front of him. "Let me help you," he said. The man stopped, eyes sunken and distant. Then he finally said, "No one helps soldiers like me." Ryan didn't understand at first, but he grabbed one end of the sack and helped drag it toward the soldier's house. It was a small, collapsing cottage near the edge of town. As they neared the porch, a voice called softly from inside, "Daddy?" A little girl stepped out in socks and a light sweater, hugging herself from the cold. Her cheeks were red and her eyes too old for her face. Ryan's heart clenched. The soldier's voice broke. "Back inside, sweetheart. I told you to stay warm." But the girl ran to him anyway, wrapping her arms around his waist. That's when Ryan realized the truth. This wasn't just a man struggling with firewood. This was a father trying to keep his daughter warm with whatever he could find. They dragged the wood to a lean-to near the back. Ryan didn't speak, neither did the soldier. When they were done, Ryan turned to leave, but something stopped him. Maybe it was the girl's eyes. Maybe it was the tears on the man's face. Maybe it was because Ryan, too, knew what it was like to fight quietly for a child's survival. So he asked, "What's your name?" The man hesitated. Nathan Hayes." "Where'd you serve?" "Afghanistan." "3 tours. You get the VA benefits?" Nathan laughed bitterly. "Filed for help 18 months ago, still waiting. I have PTSD, back injuries, nightmares. They say I'll hear back next year." Ryan looked away, jaw clenched. This country could build billion-dollar jets, but somehow still left soldiers like Nathan dragging firewood for their kids. The girl came out again. "Mister, do you want tea? We only have sugar water, but it's hot." Ryan turned, stunned. Even in her poverty, the little girl was offering kindness. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Alice," she said, with a smile that lit up her pale face. He followed them inside. The house was falling apart. Holes in the walls. No heat except a small iron stove in the corner, coughing weak flames. The furniture was hand-me-downs or broken. The kitchen was nearly bare, but everything was clean, organized. It was obvious Nathan was trying his best. They sat, talked. Nathan shared how his wife died in childbirth, how he returned from war with nothing but injuries and ghosts. He tried to hold jobs but would freeze up, sweat pouring down his face at loud sounds or unexpected movements. He had no family, no support, just Alice and the promise he made to her mother to keep their daughter safe and warm. Ryan listened. He didn't interrupt, just nodded. He remembered the night his own wife walked out, leaving him and his baby daughter with nothing but overdue bills and an empty fridge. He remembered working 3 jobs to keep food on the table, to give his little girl a chance at a life she deserved. He also remembered something else: kindness. The neighbor who bought groceries when he couldn't, the friend who fixed his truck for free, the customer who paid him double just because. Kindness that saved him. He stood up. "I'll be back tomorrow," Ryan said, "with more wood." Nathan tried to protest. "You've done enough," but Ryan cut him off. "No, I haven't." Over the next few days, Ryan brought food, warm blankets, canned goods. He called friends, churches, and even local vets groups. At first, Nathan resisted, too proud, too ashamed. But slowly he accepted, not for himself. For Alice. Word spread. One neighbor offered to fix the front porch. Another dropped off gently used clothes. A retired nurse began checking on Nathan's back injuries. A local counselor offered free therapy sessions. Someone donated a space heater. The town, so often silent and distant, began to wake up. One night, Ryan showed up with a surprise. A brand new set of tools. "I know you used to fix Humvees," Ryan said. "You're good with your hands." "You fix small engines, right?" Nathan nodded. "I know a guy who owns a repair shop. He's hiring, flexible hours, no pressure. You interested?" Nathan looked stunned. "You'd vouch for me?" "I already did." Nathan got the job. He started small, just cleaning parts and organizing shelves, but his skills came back. His confidence returned. Slowly, the nightmares faded. He smiled more. Laughed with Alice. The house began to feel like a home. One day, Alice asked Ryan, "Are you our family now?" Ryan knelt down. "If you want me to be." She hugged him tight. Years passed. Nathan became the go-to guy for hard fixes. He saved up, rebuilt his house room by room. He never missed therapy. He became a mentor for other veterans, telling his story honestly. Alice thrived in school, bright, joyful. She began writing poems about her dad and the day the man with the truck came to help them. Ryan, too, found healing. He and Nathan became brothers and spirit men, bound not by blood but by battles, pain, and love for their children. And every winter when the snow began to fall, they'd both load up trucks with firewood, not just for themselves, but for anyone in need, quietly, without asking for thanks. Because they knew, sometimes, the smallest act, like stopping your truck when you see a man dragging wood in tears, can change someone's life. Moral: never underestimate the power of one kind act. Behind every quiet struggle is a story you haven't heard, a heart breaking quietly. One gesture of compassion can become the thread that mends a life. We rise by lifting each other, especially when no one else is watching.